It's finally here. This could be my luckiest eBay find ever. I never thought I'd actually own one of these, but sometimes if you just keep your eye out for long enough, you get lucky. And not only did I manage to nab my white whale, I actually got it at a pretty ridiculous price. This is an IBM PS2 Model 95, the king of the PS2 lineup. And as a longtime enthusiast and collector of IBM's ill-fated PS2 series, it makes me very happy to actually finally own one. The Model 95 is the big, beefy server brother to the Model 90. It's heavy, it's loud, it's beige, and it's awesome. I'm pretty sure these are the most advanced and powerful PS2s IBM made before they abandoned the platform. And check out the build quality on this thing.
It's got a little blower in the door.
One cool little quirk about these machines is that the CPU is actually installed on a separate daughter card that IBM calls the processor complex.
That was easy.
And it was only this and the Model 90 that had them. And you could get these complexes with everything from a 386 DX20, I believe, right up to a Pentium 90. So these things could take 3 generations of CPUs. How's that for future proofing? I think this and the Model 90 were the only PS2s capable of running a Pentium. Mine came with a 25 MHz 486SX installed. And check out this big beefy power supply. You unscrew it and it kind of just swings out of the way, and then you can see the RAM underneath. And there's 16 megs in there. Anyway, let's smoke test it, because I like to live dangerously.
Wow.
Check out the cool display in the top left corner. In case you're wondering, CP stands for checkpoint. If you've ever used a post analyzer card to diagnose why a machine isn't booting, that's exactly what this display does. The power button also has a little plastic shield over it, so you can't accidentally push the power button and take down the server.
16 megs of RAM.
So, like I was saying before, I got this off eBay for $100 US, which is just a steal of a deal, even back then. They don't pop up too often on eBay, but when they do, I usually find people are asking like, I don't know, like 500 to over $1,000 US these days. You really gotta keep your eyes open to find one at a decent price. By the way, I'm still on the hunt for a Model 90 if anybody's got any leads. The eBay listing didn't really say much about the condition or the usability of the computer, so it was a real pleasant surprise to see the computer boot with no issues the first time. Usually at least you have a dead CMOS battery to deal with, and this is about as far as I got. And I think that's because the XGA video card in it supports some exotic video modes and refresh rates that most modern monitors aren't compatible with. So before I go digging for an old CRT monitor, I'm going to give a try to just booting from the reference disk and see where that gets me. If you're not familiar with these old PS2 systems, unlike a modern computer that has the configuration as part of the BIOS ROM, these have it on a floppy disk. And you actually, to make any changes to the BIOS, you have to boot off that disk. And IBM calls this the reference disk. And of course, most old PS2 computers you're gonna find don't come with it. But all is not lost, because you can still download the disk images from an awesome community website called the Ardent Tool of Capitalism. And if you're into these PS2 machines, that's really the place to go. They have reference disk images, diagnostic disk images, ADF files, and tons of documentation for these old PCs that would otherwise have been lost to time. So big shout out to those guys for archiving all of this stuff and saving it for future generations. So I skipped ahead in the video a little bit here because this thing takes a long time to boot. But you can see that it does in fact boot from the reference disk, which is a good sign. And there it is. This is where all your configuration settings are for your system. And I'll be coming back to this later. Right now, the important thing is that it does boot.
OS2 1.3.
So I've hauled my old CRT up the stairs to see if we can actually see the screen when it boots up.
Most device did not load. Enter continue. LAN error occurred. Pressing continue, sure.
And it actually booted into OS2. Although I noticed that the screen looks kind of weird. Again, I wonder if this is some sort of exotic resolution that even this CRT doesn't fully support. I'm not sure. So it looks like this computer was probably some sort of industrial controller in its past life. If I had to take a wild guess, I'm guessing that it had something to do with silicon chip manufacturing by the name Proconics Wafer Logistics System, and the two squares there that say ALU. And obviously I don't have the password, so I can't really do anything. The program doesn't respond without it. Interestingly, after I rebooted the computer, the screen now looks perfectly normal. I'm not sure why I was getting that weird monochrome effect before, but now I'm thinking when I first took it apart how the XGA board looked a little bit bent. Maybe it had something to do with that? Anyway, that's enough testing. It looks like this computer just works. There's no repair needed at all. So let's get it cleaned up, shall we? So that's about it for now. Nothing too interesting in this video since I didn't have to do any repairs to get it working. I do have plans for this system though. Since it's the biggest and best of the PS2s, I want to make it the best PS2 it can be. So I want to do things like upgrade the CPU to a Pentium complex, max out the RAM, add a CD-ROM, maybe upgrade to an XGA2 video card. Basically, I just want to see how far we can push this beast of a computer. I want to make it the ultimate PS2. But before I end the video, let's do some benchmarking to see where the performance stands right now. In 3D Bench, I'm getting 16.4 FPS. In the PC Player benchmark, I'm getting 4.2 FPS. In system speed test, I get 118.65 megahertz and 3,160.9 characters per millisecond. In system information, I get a CPU score of 54. In the Doom Time demo, I'm getting a score of 6,237 real ticks, which works out to an FPS of about 11.9. And the Quake Time demo doesn't run because it requires an FPU, which the 486SX doesn't have. And that's about it for now. But rest assured, we haven't seen the last of this computer on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.